What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Aydian here. I just got back from the gym and I'm pretty sure, yeah, I stink. So in this video, I wanted to go over the impact of social media on the transgender community. And I wanted to make it now before I got in the shower because I have it in my brain and I don't want to forget about it. I wanted to just kind of talk like how social media is kind of like a double-edged sword, okay? And so social media has done amazing, great things for the trans community. When I first came out in 2009, I didn't have any support in person. I didn't know any trans groups going on at the LGBT centers local to me. I didn't know anybody. I knew one person through somebody else, but I didn't really even know them until I came out to people as trans and then I was introduced to them. So, what does that mean? That means I went online and I found community online through social media, through YouTube. I was able to find like 5, maybe 10 guys who were putting up videos, who were commenting back on videos, who were messaging back and forth, right? And so it was really a great, amazing resource for me. And it just has kind of grown, right? And you know, social media has also really just made visibility for the trans community, visibility for every community, right? Being online, having access to information, right? For the trans community, we have so much more access to information at our fingertips about what doctors to see, what surgeons to see, how to go about getting top surgery, bottom surgery, breast augmentations. Then we also have all these blog people who write blogs, and we have Instagram people who post up like inspirational things on Instagram, or maybe they're showing you how, you know, tips on dressing, or tips on you know, how to do your T-shot, right? So like we have all this amazing access right at our fingertips. A couple of years ago, social media was so great because you could go on Facebook, I mean even now, right? But like you can go onto these like secret groups for trans guys, for trans women, for allies of trans people, for people who date people, for trans men who are gay, for trans men who are straight, for trans men who identify as queer, for all types of people, right? And so it's been amazing. It's been like so cool because now we can reach out, we find other people and we're like, hey, you like what I like? Oh, cool. Hey, this guy's doing something that I thought wasn't able to be done, but now that I see he's doing it, I'm gonna go do that too, right? Or you just get motivation from other people in general, right? Because you're like, oh, well, like this trans guy, you see like their pre-T to their post-T, and like maybe it's just starting hormones, or you're gonna be starting hormones, or you're thinking about starting hormones, and so you look to these people for like inspiration, right? So social media has been amazing. I would not have the career I have right now if it wasn't for social media. Now, I still wholeheartedly believe that everyone has a purpose on this earth. I don't, you know, it's not everyone's belief, but it's my personal belief. And so I still think that I would be doing something for the trans community. I don't know what it would be, I really don't, but I know for a fact I would still be doing something for the trans community. I mean, even Jenny Lee, before I even met her, was in LGBT stuff. She was doing social work and stuff for LGBT communities and stuff. So like, I definitely know that I would be somewhere in our trans world, right? But I don't know if I would be doing this exact thing, if I would be making videos right here, if I'd be posting on Instagram, if I would have Facebook, if I would be having a clothing company and a nonprofit. I don't know if I would have all those things without you guys, without social media, without YouTube, without just, you know, the concept of things going viral, right? Like without all this exposure. So it's really great. It's an amazing, it's like the really beautiful part of the sword, right? It's the part of the sword that like you hold up and you like check your teeth in and you fix your hair in the sword and you're like, yeah, I look good, right? But then there's like this other side of the sword where social media is really bad for us and it's not doing a really good job at it's like just as amazing of a job as it's doing is bringing communities together and inspiring people and letting people know that you can do what you want to do, right? It's doing this opposite effect of like really shitty job of making people feel like crap. And I relate to this. I fall into this. I still scroll through my Instagram every now and then, scroll through my Facebook, and I go, oh man, look at that guy. Like, man, he looks like so good. Like, I wish I could look like that, you know? And like, it's not a good message, right? It's like comparison is just killing us. It's just killing us and beating us down and beating us down and beating us down. And it's like a double-edged sword, right? I heard someone compare, I'll share 2 comparisons I heard. I heard one person say it's like fire, right? Like when humans found fire and like we discovered fire, it was like mind-blowing. We used to learn really like cooked food, and like we were able to like really progress in our development as human beings when we discovered what fire is. But you know what else fire did? Fire learned how to like destroy things. It would like burn down entire villages and burn down entire forests and crops and stuff, right? So it was like a double-edged sword. You learn fire to keep warm so you're not gonna freeze to death at night, but at the same time that same fire could literally kill you, right? And so I heard that comparison and I was like, oh man, like that's literally what social media is, right? You can scroll through Instagram and you could be like, oh yeah man, like I saw this video, or I saw this clip, or I saw this picture and it was so freaking cool. I'm so motivated, I'm gonna just kill today, I'm gonna destroy today, I know it, I'm gonna do me, it's gonna be awesome. But then there's this other flip side where you could wake up, you could scroll through Instagram and just be like, man, like I feel terrible, I feel horrible, like I feel ugly, I feel fat, I feel dumb, what have I been doing with my life? I've been wasting time, it's too late now, look at this guy, look at that girl, right? And like it's really like the opposite, and it could really fucking destroy your mind. And it's really confusing because, you know, like we all play our part in it, right? Like I play my part, like I play my part, and so it's hard, right? Because I find myself like, you know, doing the same things of like scrolling through and be feeling really good, and then scrolling through and feeling really shitty, right? And like, so I know that other people must be, if I'm going through these other people's Instagrams, other people must be going through my Instagram and being like the same thing, oh, blah, 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 I feel really shitty, or oh, blah, 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 I feel so inspired, right? And like, so I don't really, I just think it's really interesting, and I think we need to really just gauge where we're at personally, right? We need to remember that these are our own journeys. So the second story I want to share with you was, I was listening to this podcast, and this woman trainer was sharing that like one of her other clients, okay, one of her clients lost 2 pounds, and she came in and she was like, I lost 2 pounds this week. And the trainer was like, what do you mean? Like, that's freaking awesome. And just so you guys know, like, if you're losing 1 pound to 2 pounds a week, that's fucking awesome. If you're losing 5 and 7 pounds every week, that's terrible, okay? Just throwing that out there really quick. So, point is that like, this woman thought she felt like was doing so bad because she's looking at all these fitness people and she's looking at all of them losing 5 pounds. Oh, this person lost 12 pounds in 1 week and this person lost this, and right? And like, she's telling her trainer like, oh, well, like, you know, I only lost 2 pounds. And the trainer's like, that's amazing, that is so great, that is healthy. That means you're probably more likely to keep the 2 pounds off than if you lost 7. Because if you lost 7, you'd probably keep 2 and you gain back 5, right? And so it was just like, the first thing she said on this podcast was like, the first thing I asked was like, who are you comparing yourself to? And like within 30 seconds, the woman pulled up her phone, pulled up Instagram, typed in the lady's name, and it says, this girl. And it was like, that's the problem. And I do it too. Like, you look at somebody else's journey and you attach your story and your journey to that person, and then you realize like, or maybe you don't realize, right? Maybe that's the limit, is we don't realize, or it takes a long time for us to realize like, that's not us. Like, that's not your Instagram. That's not your life. That's not your story. Like, shh. I don't want to say it too loud, but at the same time, I want to freaking scream it. Like, it's not your story, it's not your journey. And why do I say this to you? Why do I make videos like this? Why am I constantly like trying to like, you know, say shit like this? It's because I do it. Because I know that I go through this. Because I looked at pictures yesterday and I was like, man, I feel so terrible. I don't feel good about myself today. And it was just like a total mind fuck. And it's just like not cool. It's not cool. And I even know it. Like, I know it. You know, like, I'm trying to preach this, right? And I'm trying to practice it. Some of the things that we're talking about the most about in our lives, like if you talk about manifestation, if you talk about working hard, right? Like if you talk about these things, like certain things that you talk about, that's usually because that's what your main focus is, and that's what you're trying to do. So when I talk about authenticity, when I talk about getting, you know, a better relationship with my body, a better relationship with fitness, and not doing this comparison game, it's because I'm dealing with all of those things. Every single one of those things I'm dealing with. And just like they tell you in school, if one person has a question, 20 other people probably have the same question. So I just want to make this video. I want you guys to drop below if you feel the same way. Like, have you done the comparison game and felt shitty about yourself? But then on the other side, like, have you done, like, felt really crappy and all alone, and then you found, like, outlets and you were like, this is awesome. I'm so happy for social media. I don't feel so alone. Because that's also, like, that's how I've also felt. And that's how I feel sometimes, and then sometimes I feel really great, right? And sometimes I feel really crappy. So it's a really weird game, and I just try to, like, limit myself. Like, I had my phone down the whole morning today till like 11 o'clock, and I did so much in those, I was up at 8. I did so much in those 3 hours in the office than I did, I think, if I looked at my Instagram or whatever, and then I went to work. I don't know if it was just like a placebo effect or not, but even if it was placebo, it freaking worked. So yeah, okay, so I just wanted to come in here and share this video with y'all. I think it's an interesting topic. It's something that we should all be aware of when we are scrolling. Like, are you on Instagram for 20 minutes or for 2 minutes, right? You know what I mean? Like, there should be a balance. Yeah, and that's it. So the next video, I'm going to be posting a picture on Instagram, a chest picture, because I want to do a Q&A of my top surgery. So if you have a question and you want to drop it below, feel free, but otherwise, I will catch you in that video. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to try to get some questions that I've never really answered before, and I think that'll be really beneficial to everybody. So, alright guys.
Peace.